Justice is blind. What we saw yesterday in plain view was another violation of the fundamental tenet of this nation. Not only do we see the failure to protect one of the three branches of our government, we also saw a clear failure to carry out equal justice. I'm not sure if you used to say in the Senate, excuse a point of personal privilege. A little over an hour and a half after the chaos started, I got a text from my granddaughter, Finnegan Biden, who's a senior in her last semester at the University of Pennsylvania. She sent me a photo of military people in full military gear, scores of them lining the steps of the Lincoln Memorial because of protests by Black Lives Matter. She said, "Pop, this isn't fair. No one can tell me that if had been a group of Black Lives Matter protesting yesterday, they wouldn't have been treated very, very differently."
Okay, you just heard future President Joe Biden speaking about the differences, how Black Lives Matter protesters were treated differently than the people at the Capitol. But I'm going to show you a few videos here of the differences between the two. Okay, so just watch these few videos and you tell me what the difference in the two.
Protests turned destructive in downtown Seattle tonight. Here's what we know as of 10 o'clock. Protests started at about noon today in Seattle, but turned destructive right around 4 p.m. when someone lit a Seattle police cruiser on fire. Since then, we have seen widespread looting and destruction downtown. A curfew took effect at 5 p.m. tonight. It is in effect until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Seattle police are now blocking all traffic coming into the city. Also tonight, we should let you know that 200 members of the Washington National Guard have been called up to come into Seattle. 75 have been deployed to Seattle tonight. The other 125 will arrive in the city tomorrow. All of this started earlier today with a peaceful protest at about noon just outside Seattle Police headquarters. People protesting the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, Minnesota. At 3 o'clock, a large gathering took place. Thousands of people at Westlake Park in Seattle. Again, that started peacefully, but then about 3:45, pandemonium broke out. The police cruiser set on fire. As many as 8 other police cars set fire, and then police moved in to try to disperse the crowd. You're looking at police pepper spraying people, and there's another one of those burned vehicles right there. Not long after that, people started breaking into a number of stores in downtown Seattle.
Okay, that was the first. Let me adjust my chair right here where I can be a little bit more comfortable. That was the first video. Now, you noticed that he said started all peaceful, turned to this, and then the police started using pepper spray and trying to disperse the crowd. So, you know, when the mainstream media wants to sit here and tell you that things were different for Black Lives Matter versus the Trump supporters at the Capitol, I mean, this kind of proves what they're saying is inaccurate. So I'm going to show you another little clip, and we'll move on from there.
We will get justice! Yeah! Hey!
That was another video, another clip. Now, you can see it started off peaceful. As the day grew on, cars set on fire, you know, attacking police. You're standing in the street. These cops have got places to go. They've got things to do, and you're trying to block them. And then you want to sit here and talk about, we will get justice. But yet, in the video, you can clearly see them busting windows out of these buildings. One guy actually had a cardboard box where, I mean, you know what his intentions was. He was going into there and he was going to load that box up, take it home. That is not your possession. Them are not your belongings. You're thieves. You're criminals. Boy, we're going to show you one more, and then we're going to move on to the next. So,
I think a lot of us have some questions, a lot of questions, not just for Donald Trump. I've got no questions for Donald Trump. He's an insurrectionist. There are no questions. He should be arrested today. He should be sent to jail today for insurrection against the United States of America. But I do wonder this morning why they weren't better prepared for this. Why weren't the Capitol Hill police better prepared for this? Why wasn't the city of Washington, D.C. better prepared for this? Why wasn't the National Guard better prepared for this? Why weren't law enforcement agencies all across the region better prepared for an invasion? An invasion.
An invasion. Let's watch a little bit more.
Against the people's house. Against the world's greatest deliberative body. And for those of you who have never been up on the Capitol, I spent quite a bit of time there. And even as a member of Congress, I had to have my ID to get in. If I walked across an adjoining street when no cars were on that street, but I didn't have a walk sign, Capitol Hill police would scream at the top of their lungs and tell us all to get back on the sidewalk. When I was walking to a State of the Union address across the street from the Capitol, 5 Capitol Hill police started screaming at me, telling me I had to clear the area. And yet, yesterday we saw some of these same Capitol Hill police officers, who, by the way, I never complained when they were tough. I want them to be tough. I want them to protect the people's house. Yesterday, we see them patting terrorists on the back. We see them taking selfies with people who are committing an insurrection against the United States of America, politely opening the door for terrorists who had scrawled on the door, "Murder the media," who had broken through this glass, letting them just walk through, letting these Trump supporters walk through freely and politely opening doors to the insurrectionists, and then letting the terrorists walk out of the same Capitol they had laid siege to and threatened the lives of members of the House and members of the Senate who they said they were coming to get, including Mike Pence. There has to be an investigation. How many of these Capitol Hill cops are members of Donald Trump's cult? How many?
It is a cult.
How many allowed this to happen? And I do want to know, where the hell were the D.C. police? Where the hell was how did this happen? This hasn't happened since the War of 1812, when the British stormed Washington, D.C. It's obvious this was coming. Donald Trump promised this day was coming. He and his golf caddy, Dan Scavino, were putting out videos saying it was going to be wild. January 6th was going to be wild. We were warned that January 6th was going to be a dangerous day, not just in social media, not just in the media, but in our lives. People would come up to me and ask, what do you think is going to happen on January the 6th? Well, what happened was the Capitol Hill police weren't ready. The D.C. police weren't ready. The National Guard wasn't ready. Nobody was ready.
Or was it okay because they are white? I just have to ask.
Oh, my God. Oh, please. Please.
Because
please. No,
I don't think this would have happened with Black Lives Matters protesters.
Let me tell you something. We don't have to even go there. If these insurrectionists were black, they would have been shot in the face. And my God, if these insurrectionists were Muslim, they would have been sniped from the top of buildings. So I want to know from the Capitol Hill police, what is it? Is it just white people? Or is it Donald Trump supporters? Why do you scream at people for walking across the street 3 blocks away from the Capitol? Why are you known as badasses around the Capitol? But then Trump supporters come in and you open the doors for them. You open the doors for them and let them breach the people's house.
Dude, calm down. Okay. This guy is something else. Now, he's from MSNBC, if I'm not badly mistaken. But to listen to him talk, he talks about how he was screamed at by 5 Capitol Police for walking on the other side of the street, 3 blocks. But how when it's white Trump supporters or white people, you know, they kept talking about, is it because they was white? Well, hell, dude, you're white. So I don't think they was discriminating against white and white. But this right here just clearly shows the hypocrisy of these people. Now, I'm going to play one clip of what Donald Trump actually said, because these people are saying that he instigated a riot, an insurrection. So I want to play you the clip of what he actually said.
Hold our Constitution. Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity of our elections, but whether or not they stand strong for our country. Our country. Our country has been under siege for a long time.
All right, now, while y'all was watching that little clip, I came out here to get me a little smoke break in. But you can easily get online, Google, MSNBC, and all that. And what they do is they don't show you the whole thing of what Trump was actually saying. They show the part where it talks about how, where he was saying, you can't take back our country through weakness. you gotta take it back with strength. Okay. So when you actually take the part out where he was actually saying that I was going to walk down there with you, we're going to peacefully protest. When you take all that part out, of course it sounds like he's damn excited, you know, trying to stir up a riot. But that's not what he was doing. That's not what he said. And MSNBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, you ought to be ashamed for cutting that part out, because that's what you did. You was cutting out the parts where Trump was saying, we're going to peacefully protest. Y'all taking all that out to make it sound. Hell, y'all could take part of my clip and cut out certain things in some of my videos where I said, you know, we got to fight, we got to be strong. But if you cut the part off after that where I said, and being strong and fighting does not mean using guns and fists and bats, then it's going to sound like I'm damn instigating a riot too. So, people, look it up. I mean, I've had so many people comment on some of my videos basically saying, well, it's an easy Google search. It's an easy, all you got. Well, you know what? The majority of the media out there, when you Google search, that's what pops up, because they've got so many views. They've got so many subscribers. You know, the mainstream media has got, is the dominance on the media out here. When you take people like me and the Hodge twins, the conservative twins, they actually show you the whole clip. They don't cut nothing out. They don't sit here and they let you make your own mind up. And clearly you can hear Trump say, we're going to march down to the Capitol, and I'm going to be with you, and we're going to peacefully protest. So never did Trump incite a riot. He never told anybody to go down there and do what they did. So you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And to all you Republicans that backtracked on what y'all said y'all was going to do, because y'all was scared that y'all political career was going to be over if y'all kept backing Trump, I still back Trump. And I will continue to back Trump. Because that's what a real American is. A real American is someone who doesn't listen to the mainstream media and sit here and be brainwashed by what they're telling us, what they want us to know. That's what it is. That's all they want you to know. They don't want you to know the whole story. And the whole story is, and all you got to do is look it up. And if you think back, when all this crap started with all them other riots and Black Lives Matter protests, when they first started, a lot of it was peaceful. National Guard wasn't called, nothing. I actually showed a clip where he said, and you can see everything was going on in the video, and then he said that the National Guard was being called in. So, no, the police force wasn't all that strong the whole time Black Lives Matter was protesting. No, it was not. It was just like a normal protest that had normal police out there. And then, but once it got to the point where they was burning buildings and all that other shit, you've seen it in the videos. Did you see anything on fire at the Capitol? Did you see anything on fire up there? No, you did not. Because that was real Trump supporters. But when you have the media that can easily, you can easily flip anything around. I can take any video out there and I can edit and cut and do whatever I got to do to make it sound like what I want you to hear. But people, I just played the clip of what Trump actually said. You can easily look it up. He didn't incite no riot. He didn't ask them people to go down there and do what they did. Some of them took it on their own. And there was, for a fact, and I don't care what anybody says, there was Antifa members out there. You can clearly look. Trump supporters have yet, you can look back all the videos of all the protests that have been going on with the Trump supporters, and you do not see them out there with riot gear. You don't see them out there with gas mask on, and you don't see them out there with that type of shit, because that's not what they do. But you can clearly see in that video of the Capitol protest, a lot of them people out there had bats, riot gear, gas mask. You can see all that. So the MO doesn't fit. So I'm asking you, as an American, to think for yourself. Stop believing what the mainstream media wants you to believe. Stop being a puppet, because that's what you are if you believe the mainstream media. So think for yourself, people. I'm glad you watched the video. If you made it this far, give me a big thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. If you want to subscribe, it would really help me get out the truth as far as, you know, how I feel, my opinion. I show you everything that was actually said. I don't sit here and cut and edit. I show you everything that was said. Clearly, you can see where Trump said, we're going to go down there, I'm going to be with you, peacefully protest. So, but MSNBC, them boys, that dude that got all riled up, he's full of shit. And he should be fired for lying like he was about Trump. All of them should be fired for spreading false information about Trump. And that's just the bottom line. Like it or not. But hey, you can really help me out. You know, if you want to subscribe, that'd be great. If you don't want to, it ain't no big deal. But people, I'm asking you as an American to think for yourself. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope 2021 is a better year for you. And just stay safe. God bless.